Hi, I'm JOGB and welcome to Jo on the Go.
Today I'm here with the fabulous Shelly Vella.
Way too late. Way too.
Yeah, you're in the cab. She is fashion director, and she is, well, we've known each other for 30 years.
Long time.
We're going to keep saying that number because that's a hell of a track record in an industry that is forever flighty, I feel, forever changing. This woman has stuck to her grounds all the way through, has been veggie, now vegan, and never, ever written about her.
No. Well, I have, in a very negative way.
Well, okay. It belongs on the bunnies.
Yes.
Yeah. And for that reason, in the fashion industry alone, I feel that, you know, Shelly is literally stands out alone. But check out her blog, The Stylish Stuff. I can't have to say it with alliteration there, because her styling, and new magazine, her styling is second to none. She could, I've always said for years, all these years, she can make a woman look good in a black plastic bag, and that's true. It's just amazing. She takes high street and makes it look high end. She's incredible. And so here she is with me, and she's a very dear friend who I trust in fashion. Okay, so we're going to talk all sorts of Shelly loves, really. And first off, excuse my questions, but that's my memory skills for you. Sustainable fashion. Anything new in sustainable fashion? I mean, it's picking up pace.
It's picking up pace, and the new thing is lots of brands are getting on board, and there are lots of exciting new labels. I mean, the thing to remember about sustainable fashion is that you have to spend a little bit more, but it's going to last a lot longer. So for me, it's worth the investment. So you're kind of buying into quality fabrics, quality cuts, pieces that you love. I mean, it's not about trend, it's about pieces that will stay in your wardrobe a long time. Buy a great sustainable coat, knitwear, fantastic shoes. It's not just the vegan thing, but it's about where your stuff is sourced from and how it travels around the world. It all logs up those air miles. But yeah, there are lots of exciting brands out there, and I think the younger generation are buying into it, and they want more. Like that, there's a lot more younger people that are vegan now, for example, so they're demanding vegan shoes. I mean, M&S have done vegan shoes, Topshop are doing vegan shoes, which and people get quite critical about big brands like H&M and Zara and Mango doing sustainable collections, but you have to start somewhere. Even Primark are doing sustainable denim. Now, once they start looking into it, then you hope that they're going to make the collections bigger, that all their cotton will become sustainable, ethically sourced, less water production, less damage to the environment. And yeah, I'm really passionate about it. But to roll off lots of brands, there's the most amazing website called Reve-en-vert, which Dream in Green, which I love, and they sell lots of young brands that stock beautiful things from lingerie up to knitwear to dresses, really stylishly curated. And it's I think it's websites like that, they're the kind of alternative to Net-a-Porter. And even if you Google sustainable style on Net-a-Porter, they come up with quite a lot of product now, because they know that more people are putting it into search engines.
Well, apparently
that's so important.
Last year 66% of searches was for sustainable, which is amazing.
People care, or you know, some people really care, but the fact is, if the demand wasn't there, you wouldn't get these high street stores creating these collections. I mean, vegan shoes in M&S and Topshop, that's because young people are asking for it. Free People, the website, has a whole vegan beauty section, it has a whole vegan clothing section, it has a whole sustainable, because people want it, and it's doing really well. You know, the figures go massively well for them on sales, which is music to my ears, because it's been a blooming long haul. Then you get brands like People Tree, who've been doing it for donkey's years, and you know, Safia Mini set that up a long time ago, and she had to really fight to keep that brand going, and now it's, you know, it's very, very popular. They've got a stylish collection that's not just hempy, because people associate it with hempy, frumpy clothes, and it's not. It's super stylish.
That's what I was going to say about sustain. That, I mean, if anything, it needs a really cool name, doesn't it? To get people kind of going, ooh, I'm wearing, rather than I'm sustainable. So sustainable is kind of when they're created and new, but how about recycled and vintage, because you're a big fan of
I love
that,
vintage clothing. I love trawling eBay for vintage kimonos, and I've got friends who, with brands like Daughter of a Bohemian, who sources vintage kimonos, vintage Adidas side stripe track pants, vintage khaki and camouflage, and then she will upcycle it, you know, repair it and then have hand painted flowers and stuff like that. And then stuff like that just feels really individual and new. And there are lots of people creating little ranges now that have that kind of quirk and independent feel to them. So yeah, I'm really passionate about that. But vintage shopping, seaside towns, you can find some absolute bargains. I mean, not just Brighton, which most of them are being snapped up because it's quite a trendy area, but even places like Southsea and little villages in Devon. If you go into their vintage shops, you'll find some real gems hanging up, lovely jackets, embroidered pieces of shirting. Sometimes they might be a bit small, but you can get all a bit too large, and you can get them altered.
When our kids were young, Phoebe, our youngest, she was hysterical. The other two were kind of more into young labels, but when she would be like 5 or 6, they'd be kind of Jack Wills, and she would drag us into every vintage shop.
That's brilliant.
And she was, and she still is. And so now she then went through a little stage of, well, she still likes to go to Brandy Melville. Just don't understand that shop. One size. Human beings are not one size.
Yeah.
Especially young girls who've got image conscious, etc. But she goes to Blitz London and Rockets.
Oh, Rocket's fantastic.
Yeah, and we, my husband and I, Jim, you know Jim, him.
Hello, Jim.
It was like being in Flip London when we were young, and we got them going, and now they've been buying leather jackets in there and all sorts of things. It's really cool.
I think it's exciting, and I think most people want that individual style. So if you find a great bit of vintage that nobody else has, sets you apart from the crowd, and that's my big thing in fashion. I think individuality. Find your style, find pieces that make you feel a bit special.
Look at her jewels. You've always, I mean, I do a little bit, but I don't compare with you. Look at them. I want to see the turquoise. Come on, shouldn't the camera? Shouldn't I?
This is actually a mutual friend of ours, Sandra, made this for me.
Did she?
Yeah, we picked the stone in India on a trip to India when we were in a night market.
Oh, that's right.
She brought it back and then she set it in the silver and made it for me. But for me, it looks like when you fly over the Maldives. Not that I'm banging home about the Maldives.
Yeah, much.
That's what it reminds me of.
Does
clearing
look
over
doesn't it?
Islands.
Layering. Is there an art to layering? Because you're quite a layering queen, aren't you?
I've stopped layering as much. I used to always wear dresses over trousers when we were first met.
Yeah.
That was my thing. But I love layering.
That was a thing
I do
then.
layer like lots of pretty blouses under jackets and kimonos, and I do want to put as much on as I possibly can because I like textures and fabric. So I think it's all about just knowing your body shape, knowing whether you want to layer and cover up backside or whatever. But it's actually really hard. I think it's one of those things you want to show people how to do rather than explain
Talk about it.
Yeah.
I just always think of you as a camisole peeping, and then a little top, and then
that's what I mean. For me, it's like if I love these tones of peach, so I want to put white and lots of different tones of peach and layer them and put as many pieces out of my wardrobe on as possible. Sometimes it really doesn't work, and I look like a blancmange.
So, have you got a huge wash pile?
Oh. Nobody's ever asked me that before, Jo. Yeah, I have a new washing machine.
Ecover.
Yeah, well, actually, I don't think Ecover's that great at washing your clothes, so I use a Waitrose own one that's cruelty-free. It has a leaping bunny on it. So for me, it's more about the cruelty-freeness.
Fashion editor's top tip on washing powder. I mean, you get it all here. I mean, let's face it.
It's a tricky one.
Tell me, do you lose your socks in the wash like every other human being? Is this a fashion editor thing?
Actually, do you know what? My biggest embarrassment are my underwear and sock drawers because they can't open them, and none of them are ever together. So in the morning, I spend more time trying to find a pair of socks.
I am
than
so
anything
happy.
Else.
So you don't mind me asking you about your washing tips, do you?
Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. You can do it very greenly nowadays. We bought a new washing machine recently that has all the green settings and all the energy savings, and that's really important to me. Cruelty-free washing liquids and green dry cleaning if you have to do it. But a very important fashion person once told me that even with vintage and delicates and silks, you can either hand wash them or put them in a delicate on your washing machine, because it's better than having those chemicals hitting your skin from dry cleaning, and it also ruins the fabric, especially delicate fabrics. You've got to be super careful. But like I say, green dry cleaning is better, less chemical. But it's also like dyes, the dyes in your clothes. We forget how many chemicals are going into our skin through stuff in our clothes. It's really important.
And you wonder now whether the dyes are worse now than in a vintage item, because
they're more likely in a vintage item to be natural colour.
which again is another reason for you know, seeking out classic
good
shapes.
vintage. Yeah.
And I mean, there's this jacket that Will got recently, which is this leather jacket that is so beautiful. You'd think it was made by that company Bellstar.
Oh yeah.
It's so beautiful, and it was like £35. And when he wears it, you just think, oh, drop dead.
Well,
it's gorgeous.
That's the whole thing about fashion. I think the secret of fashion is finding things that are really, doesn't matter about the price, really special, beautifully made, that look great on you, and they can either look expensive or quirky or fit and confidence enhancing stuff that you love.
Yeah.
I like to fall in love with my clothes.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy things that are it's kind of love affairs rather than flings, because then that means you'll keep it longer. And if you go into Zara and you think, oh, I quite like that, that's a fling, and that won't last, and that's not sustainable fashion. But if you see a vintage kimono that might be £200 that you have to ooh and ah over for 2 weeks, and then you do buy it, you will love it for a long time, and it will hang on your wall, and you'll ooh and ah over it, but it'll be in your possession.
Because Shelley does have the kind of wardrobe that she hangs outside the wardrobe.
I do.
Because like her boudoir.
I'm a clothes perv.
It is a boudoir. Yeah. It's not a bedroom.
Yeah.
It's like
poor Giorgio.
It's beautiful. These items, literally these items. They're not dresses. They're gowns. They're pieces of art, just hanging and decorating your
lovely
room.
Vintage pieces that I've collected over the years, and I've been given as well from people who use vintage fashion to inspire high street fashion. Yeah. And I've been lucky enough to be given some of those pieces, and you're just like, oh my god, this is a treasure. Yeah.
Shelley is going out tonight. I was going to ask her work tonight tricks, but I think we know it's like just be ready.
No, I've got three things.
All right then.
If somebody isn't like me and a bit excessive with their jewellery, you just bring an amazing statement pair of earrings. Okay. Or add heels or a good shoe. And if you have a great black jacket that you love, if you put that on, I think that can dress up most daytime things. I mean, I'm saying a black jacket, it depends on what you prefer, but for me, if I throw a really good fitted jacket over something that I'm wearing during the day and change my shoes, I feel like I'm ready to go out. Plus, I've got some amazing statement vintage earrings, and because I was working late last night, I didn't have them, but I would have added that tonight.
Okay.
Statement earrings.
Statement earrings.
Yeah.
And isn't it rather difficult in fashion, event after event, to constantly look different?
Do you know what? I've actually made a play. This dress that I'm wearing now, everybody's seen me on Instagram and out at events a million times, and I'm decided not to be embarrassed about that, because it cost me quite a bit of money. I fell in love with it.
Who's it by?
It's by an American designer called Ulla Johnson.
Oh, I heard.
Well, she's not American, but her brand is based in America, and I love it. And why would I care that people have seen me in it a myriad times? It's because it was an investment
Kate Middleton
piece.
Can do it. So can you.
I hate that thing where it's like, there was a few years ago when I was working on another magazine, it was all about your one-hit wonders, and if you wore something once on Facebook or on social media, then you could never wear it again. I mean, that is the worst thing in my whole fashion. It's like, oh my gosh, what are you going to do? Take it to a charity shop? Or it's so it's disposable fashion, and that's the antithesis of what I love.
Is there anywhere in the world you've travelled to that has made an impact on your style?
Definitely India. I just love the style of Indian clothes. It's so embellished, it's so colourful, and I love the way it's layered and the detail, and also everything about India, the architecture, the jewellery, is also intricate and this is how Indian women layer all their bracelets, especially for weddings. So I was like, it's okay, I can do that. I don't care if it looks a bit OTT. That's what they do in India. That's my style inspiration.
We allowed Shelley to keep her bangles on for the video.
Sorry.
Yeah, so we apologise for any noise.
Yeah, and I have loads and loads of vintage saris that are either hanging up as curtains at home, or I've cut them down and made them into long scarves. And another couple of designers that I work with, Lisa Taylor, I buy her clothes because she upcycles vintage sari fabric, makes them into dresses or beautiful scarves, and it's flawed. Sometimes there's faults in the fabric, but they're my favourite pieces. They're things that hang on my wall, and they're original, beautiful wedding sari fabric, beautiful colours. Yeah, I wish it's a love affair. The journey to India. People like Dries Van Noten have I've been inspired by India and his clothes if I could, you know, buy into them. And he's also about sustainable fashion because he believes that women should buy things and want to keep them and fall in love with them.
Yeah.
And he's been very inspired by his travels. One of my favourite designers.
Well, I mean, you're so right though. It's like clothes should make you feel comfortable, wonderful and appealing, and so to cram yourself into a style that just doesn't suit you, and it's just because it's a trend, it's like,
do you know what? I don't think I've been trendy for a very long time because I don't care about it. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't interest me. What I care about is feeling nice. I love a floaty bohemian dress, but equally I love a well-cut pair of trousers and a great knit and my Converse. And then I feel a bit Phoebe Philo and cool. But it depends on what day I've got ahead. I mean, we're talking about, you know, dressing for your day, and for me, having this dress on makes me feel more confident and fluid and like me, but also a great pair of trousers with a beautiful blouse will make me feel more empowered and a bit more kick-ass at work.
And what would you wear at the weekend? Joggers.
Poor Giorgio, he gets the smelly person who doesn't care, lounging around in pyjama bottoms.
Funny. Accessories.
Nah. Hardland territory. Yes.
Are you ever without anything?
No, I'm never knowingly under accessorised, as they say.
It's your
This
thing.
is my trademark, and if I would leave the house by some stress mistake without my rings on, I literally have a panic because I just don't feel like me. And my necklaces, it's a bit talisman-like, I guess, but I really love to be covered in jewellery. And
are they different?
I drive the people in the office up the wall. Can you imagine me typing with that going on?
That's funny.
Yeah, so...
Ooh, don't you still play up on that a bit? I would.
No, I try to be quiet, but I'm not taking them off, so... But I love
they actually comment on it.
Yeah.
Funny.
It's quite funny. This wrist I used to cover in jewellery, but I don't want to cover up my tattoo.
No,
so,
it's a very pretty one.
Thank you.
Kind of like,
But I love scarves, I love hats.
Yes, you do wear hats.
I just feel like if I'm going to pull out something I've had for a long time, the things that update it or make it feel different are accessories. And beautiful vintage scarves I particularly like, but I think most women feel great if they find an accessory that suits them, and you know, whether if you're a hat person or a scarf person, or if you wear a brooch, or if you're obsessed with shoes. I just think those are what make you feel like you. It's your statement.
But do you think people really know what suits them?
Not always. No. I mean, I remember back in the days before emails, when I worked where I'm working now, once before, I used to get a post bag on a Monday Tuesday, by the time the post arrived, of a black bin liner size of people who didn't know how to pack, to dress, or what shoes to wear with A, B or C. And a lot of people feel very insecure about putting outfits together, and you know, it's easy to get a bit kind of blasé about it all because you feel quite confident, but that's why I always think shops should merchandise better, and high street stores especially, they should lead people gently to a good look. And I think mannequins are really important, and I've consulted on so many brands, and just like, if you were to do that in store, to guide people on how they can wear that skirt or how to wear those trousers in a modern way on the mannequins or with your photography, you'll get a lot more uptake, and especially for older people, because they feel really marginalised. You know, I've got elderly aunts in their 80s who just
don't go shopping.
They don't go shopping because they don't feel like there's anything for them except for elasticated trousers, which is really unfair. But yet I have one auntie who, when she turned up in a caftan top with a beautiful scarf and a lovely necklace that was a little bit bohemian, I couldn't get over how great she looked and how modern, and I told her that, and then it gave her the confidence to keep buying into those kind of pieces, and it totally updated her look and made her look fresher. And
which is why you should check out her pages in New Magazine and her website.
But the other one, I worked with Mary Berry, one of my first jobs on New Magazine. She's 84 years of age, and she has a very distinct style, and she's very passionate about what she will and won't wear. She was an absolute dream to work with, and I learned so much from her about, she knew exactly what kind of jewellery suited her, what she liked, how she has a legion of followers who knew that she wouldn't put a pair of Jimmy Choos on because she'd break her neck, and I actually did make me giggle. It's like, why are we putting people into these ridiculous shoes where most people would break their necks wearing them?
Totally.
So you're always learning. And I found her really refreshing, because I showed her some things that she wouldn't normally have put on, and she gave me some tips that I didn't really consider about age appropriate dressing. Not appropriate is a horrible word, because that feels like you've got rules when you get older,
but stuff changes.
Flattering pieces of clothing for an older woman, especially when you start to the size changes, you make shrink a little bit. And
well, when you've got wrinkles up here, you don't need wrinkles down here. So the fabric changes and the structure changes. And, it's interesting. Is there anything from the new season that you like? There's a lot of weird stuff.
Do you know what?
80s. The 80s?
It's a mixture of they revisit everything. To be honest, I did like the new take on Celine. I like that 1970s sort of French Catherine Deneuve style. But basically it's nothing new. I like a big pair of sunglasses and a bit of corduroy, and I love the colours coming through. But I don't feel like I ever see anything particularly new, because it's all rehashed in a new way. Yes, of course I saw Roxanda at London Fashion Week, and I thought her clothes were beautiful. You know, a lot of it isn't wearable for the normal person. It's flights of fantasy, and sometimes that's just a beautiful thing to see, because somehow, even if it's a bow detail, might permeate down to a high street level, or a colour palette, mustards and lovely rich terracottas, and that's what I take from it. But in terms of slavishly looking at the shows for inspiration, big no. No, because I'm working on a title, You Magazine is about relatable fashion for grown-ups, and I have to think in terms of what you need for your wardrobe, not what trend off a catwalk in Paris or New York is going to change your life.
All our years of having worked together in the past as well, the gingers, not quite, but as we were often called,
redheads.
Life of being a redhead.
Yes.
How did it start? In the playground. Bastards.
Bullied when you're young, feted when you're older.
Because
it's different. And once it starts to fade as you get older, that's traumatic. That was probably one of my biggest traumas, is once my hair started to go a bit grey and a bit faded in colour. So thank God for henna and Claire Drawbridge. At Harry's,
So darling Shelley went to. I have my
on
hair
your recommendation.
Coloured, I have my hair coloured once in my life, and it was Claire at Harry's, and it was a new henna colour that was all mixed, all vegetable, lovely, wonderful. And so I braced myself with darling Claire, and I'd never met her before and trusted her, and then Shelley's been to her since as well. She's just lovely, she's totally trustworthy. So anyone who wants natural colour that's not going to mess about with your hormones and your body.
She's an alchemist, I think. She's like one of those people who actually, I showed her a picture of my hair when I was young, and she matched it totally. But she's genius. But also she put things like coffee in there.
I know.
Yeah, and it's
so
for
herbal.
me, it's also putting unnatural hair dye on your scalp. It's kind of like my ethics with cruelty-free makeup and beauty and sustainable clothing, and trying to be the best you can be. But also my head doesn't itch anymore. I don't get as many headaches. And everything that you said in your feature that propelled me to see her. And yes, I'm very, very happy. Thank you for that recommendation.
No, but it's incredible how something so
got my
simple,
red back.
You got your red back. Yeah, well, hair matters to us, doesn't it?
Since I was out of my bullying years, I actually appreciated having red hair.
So was it the appeal of like attracting men that then made you realise how beautiful it is?
No, because that never really happened.
Rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
That's true.
Not true.
Maybe one. Yeah. No, it was more the fact that it just felt like you said, it's like a trademark. It was my thing. I don't know, because the thing I love most is lots of cartoon princesses have red hair.
That's true.
Which actually, in Brave.
Brave, love Brave.
Princess Fiona in Shrek.
Fiona in Shrek.
Who kicks ass, quite frankly.
That's true.
Just thought.
That's true.
Princess Fiona in Shrek, who is a strong character.
No, I'll allow us.
You just ruined the other one if not. Cheers.
So your job is quite stressful. It's quite full on, isn't it?
Has its moments.
It's just relentless because you're on a weekly newspaper supplement. So
Yes.
how does Shelley manage stress?
Well, I follow your advice that you wrote for my blog. Lovely scented candles of an evening.
Oh, you're such a good girl.
Relaxing, really good oils in the bath.
You've always been about aroma, haven't you?
Yeah,
Good
I've started listening to audiobooks, which help me go to sleep. And
any favourites you recommend?
I'm listening to the Winter Witch trilogy at the moment, which is actually really gorgeous. I loved Philip Pullman, all those kind of authors. A little bit of flight of fancy and a Russian steppe and a bear and, you know, folk tales and stuff like that. But all sorts. But they help me go to sleep, which is really important. Good food, vegan donuts. I'm obsessed with crosstown donuts. Can I just say,
crosstown
donuts, the vegan ones, lemon and thyme with beetroot. They are the best thing I've ever eaten in my life.
Never heard of those. So you're
one
vegan
for each thigh. I always buy two. That's why I'm wearing big dresses.
Oh, stop. What made you go veggie to vegan?
Because I tried to be vegan quite a few times during my life, and I've been vegetarian since I was about 11, 12 years of age, and mentally since I was 5, as soon as I knew what it was. Yeah. But it was one of my goddaughters said to watch a Simon Amstel thing called, I think it's Carnage or Carnage, and I watched it, and that was it, because I didn't know what they did to chicks.
I think you showed me that one.
Yeah, and that was.
We'll do a link for fun.
Yeah, that was it. I think it just made disgusting. I wanted to always be vegan, but for me, it's like a bit of a religion.
Yeah.
I just see it that way. I see it as this is my choice, and I have to work really hard at it. And sometimes when I'm really knackered and rushed, I want a cheese sandwich more than life itself, or cheese on toast, but I cannot have it. And there is no good vegan cheese. Prove me wrong, somebody, please.
And vegan beauty.
Yes, but do you know what? I cross-straddle. I do vegan, and also cruelty-free, always cruelty-free and natural and as organic as possible. But you know, brands like Amley Botanicals and de Mamiel and all those delicious oil-based products, I love. I don't know if they're necessarily vegan, but as long as it's natural and good oils, like your candles, Francis's Tri-Balm.
Yeah,
you know,
I think
all that stuff I love in my life because it's just.
I think the thing with vegan beauty is that it's a very easy tag for brands to grab onto.
You never know whether, you know, it's also the whole selling in China thing. And do you know the essential thing, my parting thing on this is that I try my best, and that's all you can do. And sometimes I don't get it right, but I try my best. Yeah. And I will be led. You've inspired me a lot with a lot of the things that brands that you've introduced me to. But yeah, at the end of the day, I want to live my life as cleanly, with as minimal impact on the environment as possible, and sometimes that goes by the wayside. Sometimes you get it really right, and you can try and influence other people, and small things make a difference. It's not just recycling, which matters obviously.
Well, you've always influenced me. You've always inspired me. Every day she looks like a goddess. She looks like this gorgeous. So, you know.
Yeah, really.
I mean, I just put on a jumper.
I'm going to send you a picture of me in my jumper.
Why compete? So I'm not going to bother.
You're going to see the jumpers and the dirty boots.
Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this
Jo.
goddess loveliness. a final rattle.
Yeah. Oh God, that's so bad, isn't it?
Check out her blog. Check out You Magazine too. It's looking good.
Thanks, Jo.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share the love. And do visit my lifestyle website, jogbliving.com, where you'll find our candles and blog and more exciting things to come. The link is below.